3 o'clock, good to have you with us. Odyssey.com Rewind just got done with some Pistons talk, defending them a little bit from the foolishness of what went down with Shaquille O'Neal and TNT. But we want to move to the Lions in a different way. And I think it's interesting. Amon-Ra St.Brown on his podcast. I'm not overselling it. There's no rant. But it does help if you watch the video with the audio because you can see him putting his hand on his head, on his face. He's just like, basically, Jesus, blank, enough already as it pertains to the Chicago Bears. So I want to play the audio, and if you can imagine him, rubbing his head and putting his face in his hands. And David, please tell me you appropriately bleeped out a couple of things. Okay, there's some spicy language, including he calls Ben Johnson something that you better have bleeped out. But
had to explain to Mike.
Still can't make the connection there, but we'll just move forward. The point is, here's Amon-Ra as it pertains to the Bears' spending spree. So, listen.
That man rang right up to us. No!
That was actually Amon-Ra as Paul Woods.
What the bleep is this?
So, look, the way I took it is, and I don't think, the word fear does not enter the chat. The word scared doesn't. I think the Bears have his attention. I think the Bears should have your attention. Now, I know you don't want to hear that. You're probably already scrambling for a remote control. Or you're cursing at your steering wheel. Don't. It doesn't mean you're not good. It doesn't mean you might not be the favorite to win the division. But the Bears should absolutely have your attention. Not only by the fact they took the number one assistant in the coaching cycle, and he was yours. Mm-hmm. Not only by the fact they have rebuilt their offensive line top down and improved an already good defense. But how about this? And this is the one little fun part of the topic. They are the betting favorite to land Ashton Genty, the number one running back in the draft, out of Boise State, Heisman Trophy candidate, the whole bit. Ben Johnson is bringing Detroit to Chicago. And before you start this crap about Caleb Williams, as if he went out and threw 28 interceptions like Peyton Manning, I want to remind you of something. It wasn't long ago you took a quarterback whose career was over. He was thrown in the garbage by Sean McVay. They started John Wofford in a playoff game instead of Jared Goff. He was a throw-in to the Stafford deal. And Ben Johnson, along with others, but Ben Johnson played a big role in breathing life into Jared Goff's career to the point where Jared Goff's name was chanted in grocery stores. So if you don't think Ben Johnson's got a shot with a kid entering his second year who didn't have a terrible rookie year amidst a coaching change, amidst an OC change, as a rookie,
coach who just had no clue to what was going on.
Correct. I'm making a point. Is it fair to say the Bears should have Lions fans' attention? Not fear, not scared, but it sounds like the Bears got Amon-Ra's attention. So I just want to know. And again, if you're going to slander them taking Ashton Genty, cool, Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, you guys, Ben Johnson is bringing Detroit to Chicago. Mm-hmm. They've got my attention. To me, they're a playoff team. And if they're a playoff team, that makes the margins a lot tighter in this division. Now, I could take Minnesota and throw them in the garbage. Let's say JJ's just not ready.
Hold on. But you have to hope that JJ's not ready. Because while you're watching the Bears, hey, Minnesota is sneaking right past you, making some moves, improving their offensive and defensive line. Now, if JJ is just okay, you're still in trouble. Because they still have all those pieces. You have to cross your fingers and hope that JJ is just brain dead when he plays.
Yeah. But I wanted to know, when you hear what Amon-Ra's saying, and again, the video helps. And sure, part of it is he's like, my God, the amount of money. But it is the players. Look, it's not uncommon if players do a podcast today. If teams are signing bums, they tell you. I mean, hell, Micah Parsons talks about the Niners every damn day. But, yeah, I think they have Amon-Ra's attention, and they have mine. you're not the only team that's allowed to get better. So, yeah, Bears have my attention. I want to know if they have yours. And again, I haven't used the words fear or scared. That's not what attention is. I just don't view them as a rollover. And I don't view them that they're not going to be a threat to win the division. No. I think they're a threat. I think this is the toughest division in football. I think this is the new AFC North. It is the hardest division in the entire sport.
No.
So,
not just to see, I go past the Bears, Mike. I do, like I say, I do the entire North team because I'm looking at everybody. Like holding your breath, praying to God that Metcalf didn't go to the Packers. But they made moves. The Vikings have made a lot of moves. And now the Bears took, because it was addition by subtraction, you got to hope that this new offensive coordinator is going to be as good with Goff as Ben Johnson.
He won't be.
But he's taking that. He took Randall L with him. He's taking a philosophy. He went out and in 72 hours flipped the O-line. Okay? Totally got rid of all of their O-linemen, brought in brand new O-linemen, and said, your job is to protect this guy right here.
And 2 years ago, let's remember something. We did shows, and I'm sure they're somewhere on YouTube. The difference when you had Jonah Jackson in your lineup and the difference when you didn't. You were averaging north of 5 yards a carry with him. He was about a 50-yard difference on a game-in, game-out basis when Jonah was healthy versus when he got hurt.
Mike, it was every game that they lost, he didn't play.
They went 0-5 in the Jonah games?
Yeah.
Okay. Good pull by you. So my point is, yes, he got hurt. All right? Signed a bad deal with the Rams. That doesn't preclude him from having a good year with the Bears. And if the Bears bring in an Ashton Genty or an Omarion Hampton, the kid from North Carolina, like, they're emulating you. What?
No, because I can only imagine what happens when they call the trick play here at Ford Field. You know, Ben Johnson is going to be sitting there smiling, probably with a finger in the air like, yep, that's a touchdown. Not even looking. Going to turn his back to the play and just look
Larry
at the
Bird at the three-point contest? 248-539-9797. We played a little bit of the Amon-Ra audio. Do you feel like the Bears have his attention, and I guess by that, do they have yours? Look, again, I'm not telling you they're better than you. I'm not saying that. But I think this division got a hell of a lot tougher. And even if the Vikings do take a step back, I think the Bears will more than pick up the slack. And by the way, the Vikings are hyper-insulating their young quarterback. You know who spent the second or third most amount of money this offseason? The Minnesota Vikings.
Kind of what you're saying with Chicago.
That's the point. This division, to me, got a hell of a lot tougher. And the fact is, right now, look, I don't know what the Lions have planned. I do not accept, and I know we talked about this in pre-show, and I think Doug and Scott were taking a different position on it, but like, Lions just don't have the money. You can't talk about Trey Hendrickson. The hell you can't. Kansas City just created $50 million in cap space restructuring deals. You can do the same damn thing. Oh, but what about 3 years from now? I don't care. So I don't want to hear it. Right here, right now, what's your plan at the end? Marcus Davenport. You know, like your depth is just not where it needs to be up front. And Aleem is not going to start the year healthy. And Aiden broke his leg. So, look, I think it's more than fair to say this is not going to be a 15-2 year next year. And it's not going to be a cakewalk. Your schedule does look tougher on paper, and the Bears have got better. Now, if you want to argue that they haven't gotten better, I guess you should probably call a different show, because that's just cognitive dissonance on your part. Like, you're just not willing to think.
Or the other flip side to this, do you not care because in your world, Lions fans, and it's okay, 248-539-9797, once all of your players come back from injury, it doesn't matter what the other teams in this conference does because they can't beat you.
Got it. Good strategy. 248-539-9797. David or Kenny, do the Bears have your attention?
Yeah, the Bears have my attention, and I do feel like we're going to get a lot of Lions fans that, Rico has just described where, when we're healthy, we've gotten better, or somehow the blissful ignorance of, the willful ignorance of, hey, all these additions to other teams, they're going to stink. They're not going to be as good. No, they've gotten better, and Ben Johnson has done a great job to insulate that quarterback. And I just don't see how a fan can look themselves in the mirror and go, I'm not saying the Bears are as good as we are, but damn it, they've gotten better.
Yeah, and by the way, Kenny, here's the interesting part. If you take the name off of this, and I tell you that a rookie quarterback threw for almost 4,000 yards, had 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and completed 63% of his passes, would the word bum, garbage, trash, ass, lousy, idiot come into play? No. But when you say it's Caleb Williams, because he's kind of a weird dude and he plays for the Bears, oh, yeah, you're right. Ben Johnson has nothing. He can't work with any of that. Mind you, this is the job Ben Johnson waited for and wanted because he got Caleb. Oh, well, Caleb holds on to the ball. You know what? It's kind of weird. It's almost like Ben Johnson tailored an offense around what Jared Goff did and did not do well. Yeah, I think the Bears should have your attention. This year, you'll never go 15-2 again. Ever. So here's the other part. And I had this conversation. I know it's Rico's birthday, and I'm not trying to be salty. The point I'm making is, if you are still living in the vibes of last season, you're lost. It's over. The Bears won the same amount of playoff games as you. Move on. Last year's team is dead. It's over. It's like high school. You graduated. You don't get to go back. Your cool points don't transfer to college. So the point I'm making to you is, we're on to the next year. And the neighborhood's getting tougher. So I want to know where you're at with it. Because Amon-Ra was having a little bit of a breakdown on the pod.
Especially that last line.
Can I have that as a drop? We'll put that right next to Paul Woods from the Ottawa game. No. Are you sure?
The bleep, man.